Hi guys, welcome to Avas Aquatics. Today's video is about how to set up beta breeding and what are the things we have to see before setting up a beta breeding unit. So this video will be very helpful for the beginners who wants to try and test the process of beta breeding on their own. See the video. Let me know your comments and suggestions. We will reply back with the right information according to the questions or the requirement. Let's go to the video. Point number one is research. Before you setting up a breeding setup unit, educate yourself thoroughly about the process. Understand the natural habitat behavior and breeding pattern and the potential challenges which you can face in your place where let it be a climatic problem or let it be a water problem or whatever it is. So this video will be talking all about these requirements, what all the things you have to see for the setting up the rightful process for the healthy beta breeding setup. Point number two is selecting the healthy fish. So you have to choose the healthy and the right brood stocks for your breeding pair. That is very, very important. And the fish has to look very vibrant in color, good finnage, no signage of no signs of illness or any deformities in the body, like the fins are toned off or body is curved, the pectoral fins are like no not fully grown or something. First, check the BMI of the fish, how the fish looks and the appearance. It will be more helpful to have a better and healthy conversion of the breeding process. My suggestion is avoid breeding siblings or with fishes with genetic defects. Point number three is conditioning. So before putting them for a breeding, you have selected what beta pair you want to take. You have selected it, well and good. Take them say or at least 7 days before. Keep them separately. Provide them high protein food. That is very, very important. Let it be live food or frozen food like brachiums, daphnia or bloodworms. Bloodworms and mosquito larvae are the very, very effective ones to improve their health and reproductive readiness. Uh, Point to notice, don't overfeed them. You know how they intake, right? You have to understand the pattern of how they intake. Feed them accordingly. Keep them in the nature in a very cool and comfortable place so that they don't get agitated much or they don't panic on the process. Point number four is separate the pair. Yes, as I said earlier, keep them separately. You should keep them nearby or somewhere which they don't see or whatever it is. Separate them, and they will reduce the stress nest, and they will be happily swimming around and checking around. So that will be good for your breeding setup. My suggestion in this point is have at least 10 batches, like take 10 males and 10 females, keep them separately, and for putting breeding, the units, select the breed pairs accordingly to your requirement and put them. So in that 10 pairs, at least you will feel 8 pairs are sufficient enough to breed, and you can get at least a 50% of conversion rate. So that will be helpful for your breeding whole setting up process. So keep the pairs separately, and while introducing them before the breeding, select the pairs whichever you want to do it. Point number six is introduction of the pair. So as I suggest you, take a small tank like 1 feet by 8 inches will be more than enough for them to breed, or 8 inch by 6 inches more than enough for 1 feet high. So those kind of tanks, get a small tank, put a female inside a container and leave the male outside, so that this is where you introduce to them. So initial stage there will be an aggression behavior in both of them. Male tend to attack the female. That's why I said keep them in a container. In a hour's time, like in 24 hours time, it will become like silent, female will start accepting the male and male will be start accepting the female. Their aggressiveness will reduce to normal, say. That time you have to open out the female outside for the breeding process to start. Point number 6 is bubble nest. This introduction of pair and the bubble nest might go at the same time. Some pairs once you introduce to them, the male will start building bubble nest. It happens anyways. So what happens here? Once the male accepts the female and female accepts the male, there will be a submissive behavior in the female, and male will be starting bubble nest. So keep a substrate in the corner of the tank. It will be more helpful so that the bubble nest will be accumulated in a single place. The male will build the bubble nest over in that only. So you will not have a scattered eggs everywhere. I mean, the bubble nest. It will be in one single place. The more bubble nest is constructed, the more acceptance is the understanding. So check how the bubble net is construction is happening. This will happen between this 1 to 2 days itself, the starting stage itself. Uh, Point number 7 is this bubble nest and spawning initiation of the female and male, and this process will go on till this first 48 hours. You can see that in your eyes. So don't get agitated. The female will not be get hurted or something. It's a regular pattern which they follow while doing the breeding. So just have a watch on it, how things goes on. Point number 8 is courtship and spawning again. So these things, as I said, are interrelated, and it will happen stage by stage. Some stages it will happen in the front itself. Some stage will happen in the last, third day of the breeding setup. So you have to keep a eye on the pairs, how their behavioral pattern is and everything. So when the spawning started, the fishes will move zigzag. They tend to hold them in their bodies, and the male will squeeze the female out, so the eggs will fall down from the female. And once the egg is fall down from the female, the male will take the eggs and keep it in the bubble nest. So this is the process of courtship and spawning. It will be very visible, you can see also, but don't disturb them very often. So they tend to eat eggs if they see they are very restless or stressed or whatever it is. So don't disturb them, keep it in the corner, give them a good peaceful atmosphere and surrounding to carry forward the breeding. Point number 9 is removal of female. So after the spawning everything, the female will be, you can remove the female. So what is the sign of that is that the female belly bottom will be very thin, narrowed, so that all the eggs have been came out, and it will be lying down in a corner. It will not move very often. So that is the sign. So once you see, and in the bubble nest also you can see them that there will be a creamy white spot in that bubble nest. So that means the eggs has been laid, and that time you can remove the female. Rest all male will take care. So female doesn't have any work in that. So without disturbing the nest and the atmosphere surroundings, just take out the female and leave her separately, feed her very nicely, like very dry or very lively food, whatever it is. Point number 10 is egg care. So after laying the eggs and everything, here comes the duty of the male. Male will take care of the entire process from now. So male will take care of the bubble nest. Whenever the eggs falls down from the nest, the male will take and put it back. The hatching will take almost to 24 to 48 hours. After that, you can see a small movements in the egg yolk sac. When the fries hatches also, the till the sac, I mean the yolk sac absorbed inside, the male will take the fries and keep them back in the bubble nest. So let the process goes on. Till that, don't feed the male. Let it goes. If you feed the male, it will get distracted and it will be busy behind the feed, not on the fries. So don't feed the male till then. That will be more helpful for that thing. Point number 11 is hatching and rearing. So after the egg is born and the fries are hatched, so the the sac has to be observed. So wait for it. Uh, at least for 2 to 3 days, just be them in the same tank which they are born. In for 20, like in 36 to 48 hours, they will start free swimming. At that time you can feed them hatched brain shrimps, or egg yolk will be the most best food to provide them. Take a piece of egg yolk, boiled egg yolk, mix it in the water nicely, and it should be semi-liquid solid. Not Don't put full egg yolk, just take a pinch of it, and morning once and evening once, add it with water, dissolve it in the water, and feed it like a liquid. That will be taken care. Let the fries be in the tank for at least for 3 to 4 days. It will be more helpful for them to get along well and grow healthily. But keep feeding the egg yolk. If you can provide brain shrimps, it will more than enough. Or else you opt for egg yolk. Point number 12 is gradual separation. As the fry started to grow, when they started to swim independently, you can differentiate the days, like no, from the day 1 in the day 4 or 5, the differentiation you can easily see. When you feel that they are very free swimming and they can able to handle themselves, you can gradually change them to a large container, or through that you will prevent cannibalism or overcrowding. So anyway, at a time, Betta will give you almost say 100 plus price for sure. Probability of survival is almost say 70 to 80% depending upon the atmosphere what you provide them, and what kind of feed you are giving them. So the more number of fishes, the more number of problems you create. So once you started to separate them gradually in different tanks or larger tanks to grow, the cannibalism or feed dominancy issues will be get over. They will grow healthily and they grow fast also. The last point, the point number 13 is patience and observation. As a breeder, you need required patience. You should observe your fishes very carefully. You should understand the growth pattern, breeding pattern, behavioral pattern, everything. There will be lots of challenges and setbacks. You have to keep trying over it. For example, when I started breeding, sorry, I have failed almost say 10 to 12 times on this setup and process. It took time for me to understand depending upon my no climatic condition, water condition, and all other parameters. Now I am able to convert, like say if I put 10 pairs of breeding, I can have to 7 to 8 pairs will give me good amount of price, and I can have almost 80 plus percentage of livelihood on the fries. So it will take some time. Some people will convert immediately. Some people will take a little bit more time. But keep trying. It is a good experience to go along. Good luck. Happy fish breeding.